Hello, everyone. It's Hunter. Hope you're doing well today. Thanks for joining me. If you have anything, please leave it below. I'd be happy to talk with you. Today's topic: technology has made us retarded. That's the best way I can say it. What does a child who grows up in today's society do when it's faced with reality? Well, if we all look within ourselves, we remember being a kid. We remember when we acted out and we had to say sorry, or when we didn't do something we should have and we got punished, or when we just had to do things that taught us about reality. It all felt sucky. It all felt bad. It all felt like I'm in trouble. You know what I mean? It has that anxiety to it. And now, for the longest time, there was no iPhones, there was no cell phones, there was nothing to escape to. So, it just kind of worked. If you're maybe your parents weren't the best at it, but at the end of the day, the message got across because you couldn't just run off somewhere. Well, nowadays that's different. Nowadays, I remember as a kid, whenever I got in trouble, I would just put on a mask. I would put on a mask to deal with reality just so I could go back to technology where I felt safe. And I'm speaking from like a child here. I'm not speaking from a logical standpoint. I'm speaking like a child. Because that is the root of the issue is that we're all big kids. We don't just wake up one day at 18 and have a new mindset like, oh, we're adults now. That's not how it works. It starts out as a child and you grow into an adult. So what happens to you as a kid stays with you, right? We all know this. So when you're a kid, you put on the mask for the real world, for reality, the stuff that just doesn't feel good, that anxious, getting in trouble, just whatever. And you put on a mask for that. And then when you finally have a chance to be yourself, what doesn't feel like anxiety is technology. What doesn't feel like anxiety is video games. What doesn't feel like it is being online. Why? Because you gotta think like a child again. You can say and do and act how you truly feel without repercussions. Just like how we all know. You can say what you want online under an alias and nobody can track you down. No one's gonna come to your door and fight you, right? It's the same mentality. It's a childish mentality, but that's why it works. That's why it's so dangerous for kids, is what I'm saying. The point of this video is to say, we as a society think it's normal to have technology in children's hands, and I'm saying that's so dangerous, and no one's talking about it. And the only reason, money, because if we made a law that said you can't give iPhones or, tech to kids, that would be a lot of money they lost. That'd be a lot of money loose. A lot of money being lost if that happened. Can't have that happen. Can't protect kids. Got to protect my money. That's how I imagine it goes. And it's really bad. Because what does a kid do? If you grow up with technology, what do? And I'm speaking from personal experience. Remember that first time? It's like, oh my gosh, I have a crush on this girl. Like you're in middle school, and you're like, okay, I should talk to her then, right? But you're hit with that anxiety. You're hit with that wall. You're hit with that same reality that you felt when you were much smaller when you got in trouble, like I was just mentioning a minute ago. That same feeling hits you. So what do? You do exactly what you did when you were a kid. You put on the mask and then you escape to online. Because you're repeating the habit. You're doing the same thing that's how brains work. You're repeating habits. Humans are habitual, right? And so you grow up missing out on certain things, like you end up, for example, never talking to the girl because you never got over that emotional hump. You just escaped online. And that worked, like you survived. It wasn't like something terrible happened, so your brain figured out, okay, that's safe. That's safer than facing the anxiety. That's safer than facing the fear. You see how it's starting to work now? You see how technology has embedded itself, it inserted itself as an off-ramp for children to be themselves and develop online. And while that was happening, the adults were so busy with how society is. Like, I'm an adult now, I get it. Now I understand how it is to have a job and be an adult and all this stuff. All this stuff was happening while they're just like trying to raise kids. They're just trying to like survive. So they don't know what's going on. So don't blame the parents. Don't blame the older generation. They're just in the same boat as us. So what does a kid do? He grows up. He doesn't face those anxieties. He doesn't face those fears. He escapes online. His brain learns that that's how you survive. And then society goes, oh, you're like autistic or something. Oh, like there's something wrong with you. And you're like, I guess. Because you're right. Like, I didn't face those fears. I didn't face those anxieties. Maybe there is something wrong. No, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with any of us. That's technology changing human nature in real time. And then blaming the people when it changes them. That is so insane, is it not? I feel crazy. These companies, and like, look, let me say this because I don't think it's intentional. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't have proof. I don't think it was intentionally like, oh yeah, we know this is going to affect how humans are in their nature and how kids develop, but we just don't care. We want money. I don't think that's what happened. I think it was in good faith. And now that it's been going on and the money has flowed and now the data's coming back and it's like, that looks bad. But if we stop it now, all that money and that money flow that we created no longer can happen because it's morally wrong, ethically wrong. That is a tough question. You can't tell me if you're the CEO of that company whose entire goal is to make money for the shareholders. You're telling me that CEO would risk his own life and do all of that own stuff to himself for moral purposes? Now, I think he should, but in reality, is that how it often goes? Is that what history has showed us? No. It shows us that they will cover it up every single time because it's more profitable to cover it up and pay for it later than it is to make it right. That's the system we live in. That's the system we live in. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I was one of those kids. I spent 2 years thinking, oh, something's wrong with me. Nothing's fucking wrong with me. I was made this way. And I'm not saying I deserve something because of that. No, I just want some fucking peace of mind. I just want some grace a little bit, like, hey, maybe instead of, oh, there's something wrong with you. Oh, maybe it's like, maybe we should sit down and look at what's causing this in people's lives and why the numbers of ADHD and all these mental health issues in young people is like astronomically high. Is it because all young people are just broken? No. A whole generation doesn't just break. It's because an input caused an output. A cause had an effect, and nobody's talking about it, and it's just blowing my mind. So if you're out there and you feel like nobody understands and you just keep getting told that something's wrong with you, stop taking that shit. It's not you. Yeah, it has caused issues. Like, for example, I have like this, like I do have things I can improve on, 100%. But to act like there's something wrong with my character, to sit there and for the longest time I used to tell myself there's something wrong with me. Like I'm an issue because of it. That is bullshit. And that was not me. That was technology having an emotional off-ramp inserted into my life at a young age where I was vulnerable, and then it grew up in my life. That is way different than me having an issue. So you put the technology that causes the issue, and then I go to the doctor who's supposed to fix the issue that you created, and then they tell me I'm the one who has the issue. I caused the issue based off me. That's what's happening. It's gaslighting of the ultimate degree. Like, holy shit, stop. We are insane. But that doesn't mean go burn down a Walmart. That doesn't mean get angry. It means let's bring awareness to the fact that technology has harmful effects on the development of humans. And if you do not have an already stable mind and the wisdom to use it as a tool, it will use you. It will insert itself into your life. That's what it's done for an entire generation, and it's continuing to do for the next generation. And then we're just sitting here doing nothing. We have to make a change now.